up in the front with the ribbon. Backside looks like every day's Thanksgiving. Seem like the whole room comes to a.
We're live again.
All right. Part 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would just be something nutty. You know, this older gentleman was trying to school this gal. And it's one thing, we totally respect our elders. I feel very privileged to have these young people working with me because I get to be a mentor and I get to help them in ways that maybe nobody else would be able to get a hold of them. You're stuck all day with me. All day with me. So, you know, if I see you disrespecting an elder, whoa, we're going to have a huge problem. So these people, you know, get to be exposed to kindness and how to be, you know, a good member of society and how to be helpful and how to be considerate and how to do all of these things. So this was not the case. It wasn't this. It was a gentleman being really aggressive and taking it out on this girl. And he wanted to tell her, you know, I've done this job before and this is how I did it. And here's how.
Oh, yeah, he's the one.
She was like, sir, I'm not interested in hearing what you did. Like he was being really rude. And so because she wouldn't sit there and take what he was dishing out, he went and wrote this review with her whole name on there. I don't even think she knows it's there. Saying, you know, this person, and then named her, does not like to learn.
Oh, wow.
Proceeded, to just go, you know, I've done this and she just would not hit. So they make themselves look nutty. You could tell by reading the review, this is not a mentally well person. But just that's the whole point, is those are the people writing them. It's very seldom. I love when someone writes a nice, good review. And I don't even care if it's, you know, if it's helpful. But if it's not helpful, what are you doing? Like, oh, because we had a line one day, you wrote a nasty review because we had a line? Like, that means we're doing good business. Like, we're really fast. I don't get it, but okay. Because you're impatient and you didn't plan accordingly? Like, we get a bad review? I see. And it's what's really funny and what I really love is, so this is why I don't give any credit to the reviews. If it's great, that's awesome. If it's bad, I'll read it. Most likely it's not probably something that's realistic or that was helpful or needed to be shared. Clearly you're showing us that you're just a negative person. That's what you always notice. You could have been like, boy, it was slow, but those people were hustling. They were trying, but the people kept coming. Like, you know what I mean? You could see how
they just took their opportunity to vent and
correct, to get their nastiness out. But there's some people, you know, that do a really nice job and put a nice review on there. But the thing that I think is so funny, so like we had one gal and she was in there and she was huffing and puffing and she was mad and she was in a hurry, you know, the world revolved around her. And there was a lady in front of her who got there first. And the lady it wasn't that she wasn't prepared. She didn't know what to do. You know, a lot of these new things now in the world revolve around electronics and, you know, scanning QR codes and, you know, printing labels from emails and things that some of the older generation they don't know how to do this. So they're coming in to get help. You know, they're like, how do I need to accomplish this task, but I don't know how to do it. Can you help me? And so we'll help them.
Customer service?
And this lady behind her was pissed. She started hollering, you know, saying, you need to, you know, this is ridiculous. You need to come prepared like the rest of us, you know, and just going off. My. And then so the next lady that came after her, you know, so the first lady we helped her, she was gone. You know, then the grouchy lady was now at my counter, you know, and we just tried to get her out of there really quickly. I was tempted to say something, but I'm like, this woman is not going to be able to hear anything you're going to try to say right now. You know, she's pretty full of herself right now. So there's no room for you. But the lady that was after her that walked up to the counter did say, as the grouchy lady walked away, she goes, some people need to be more prepared. And the other lady goes, and some people need to practice patience. And I just thought it was so cute.
Get it in.
And I was like, all right. Like, she wasn't rude. She wasn't anything. She didn't have a problem waiting. And she loved that we were helping the elderly lady figure out what to do. And the lady who was prepared actually, you know, was probably equal in age. So it wasn't like a her over the other lady thing. It just, you know, one lady One lady needed something, and the other lady, had the world revolving around her. And it showed. You could feel it in their energy, the type of people they were. And, who did you want to help more? Me, I'm a little torn. I wanted to help the other lady by schooling her, but I know that's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's both of them, schooling both of them. The older lady who needed help, yeah, I wanted to school her. Let me teach you how to use your electronics. And the other lady, I wanted to be like, let me show you how to be nice. You should try it. You might like life a little more. So yeah, that's just a little touch on what's going on. Let's see what else. How are things
You're getting
over
a
there?
slice of all the pies.
Getting what?
You're getting a slice of all the pies.
Yes. I really do feel like things are kind of evening out. So that's nice. We went through such hard times recently. And then, it seemed to get better, but there were some things that just weren't quite back online yet that I could see. And then now it really feels like, in the neatest, nicest way, things are getting a little bit better. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to mute you so I can clear my throat. Hold on. Are you back? Okay, too much talking and not enough water.
That was high tech.
See, I'm getting fancy. Fancy.
Yeah, super. Yeah, fancy. Super fancy. I told you.
So let's see what else.
Well,
oh my goodness.
I just wanted to say that coming from you, that little update coming from you, to me means quite a lot. I would say that's a substantially relevant, important little take on the world at large.
Well, and just, we all have different abilities. Mine tends to be to be able to read the people, the state of the people. And so it seems pretty good overall. Like, I really don't see too many grouchy people.
That means I'm the grouchiest one.
I don't think you are.
But see, so I'm the grouchiest one.
Yeah.
I'm like the wolf in the back. Right? I'm like the wolf in the back, and I eat last, and I'm just everything's cool, and even I'm cool, but I might bark real loud, and I might nip at something and steal somebody's chicken leg. You know what I mean?
I've never seen you be inappropriate, though, and I've known you for a long time, and I've seen you in a lot of social situations, and I've even seen you in social situations where you're really being, my first brain wanted to say crucified, but I'll just change it to attacked. Like, I've really seen people going after you, and I've never seen you retaliate or reciprocate or any of these things, to the point where, I like wanted to intervene, but I didn't know what to do. I'm like, he's a grown man. He knows what he's like. I was absolutely horrified, literally, to see how the people were going after you. Like, it was really kind of crazy. And I guess it's different to see on someone else, because I am actually, and even the people that I work with comment about it, I am a person who triggers people very much. So if you're shenanigans and you're nonsense, I have that motherly / teacher / your higher self part about me that is just, no, I'm not going to entertain nonsense. If a 5-year-old can do it, yes, I expect you as an adult to be able to do this. I'm not talking about math. I'll help you do math. But yes, I'm talking about you don't get to just walk into a public place and be so loud and take up so much space and start barking at everybody and insulting people. No, nobody's going to tolerate that anymore. Nobody's going to, you don't have a right to be in this store at all. This girl came in, and I don't want to name her race, but it's really because I feel like they're getting picked on right now, so I don't want to add to it, but I saw why. And she came in, she was so entitled. All I told her was, I'm going to just need a moment, please. I just got done serving like 130 people with not even a breath. Like, you're going to just have to she came in so forceful. I needed a second to gather myself. Like, and I was tired anyway. Like, I hadn't even used the restroom. Like, I need a second. I didn't tell her no. I didn't tell her I was going to not help her. None of this. I just told her, just give me a second. I got to breathe and I got to let my brain rest for just 1 second and I'll help you. And there was a lady after her who had something that was going to take 30 seconds. In and out, no brainer, nothing. Like, hand me your thing and you're done. So I went to, take what was in her hands, and the lady lost it. She lost it. She stormed out. She made sure everybody in the place could feel it, right? And then she continued to call us back on the telephone to threaten us with all the things she was going to do. She was going to report us here, and she was going to tell on us here. We had wasted her time here, and she had, done this to be able to make this happen. Well, ma'am, nobody told you to leave. Nobody told you that they were going to help you. We could have already had you in and out if you hadn't stormed off. Yeah, you got offended. You got mad. You were triggered. But she proceeded to call us and threaten us all day long. And then she finally called and said, this was the funniest part, because nothing was said. The only thing that was said was, I need a second. She was really, one of those people that walked up like, it's my turn, and here, I didn't call you up to the counter yet. And so the last thing she said before she started screaming profanity at the top of her lungs like an absolute animal, and I had to end up saying, I got to hang up now. I don't think she heard me. But she was saying that she had, reported us or was going to report us. I think she called back one more time before we blocked her, for racial profiling.
Oh, brother.
Now, there was never anything in any way, shape, or form like regarding her race at all. In fact, her race is my race, one of my races. So you have, a couple of people, from other countries in the store.
Yeah, everybody's
everywhere. And then you have me, like, who it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, there was nothing said in any way, shape, or form derogatory towards her, and for sure not towards her race. And nobody said they wouldn't help her. And then she just lost it like this. And that's what I'm saying. This is the kind of person. Luckily, she didn't write a review, but she probably will. Like, this is the kind of person that writes that review. Somebody who is just so off their meds, off their rocker. I felt bad because, she was talking about her kids, and my mind's like, oh, I wanted to say prayers for her kids. Like, if this is the kind of person that's walking around in public doing this to strangers, I can only imagine how you are with your own family. Like, wow, what a tragedy. And how do you help her? I don't even know how. Like, that sucks. So there's both, there's the one exception like her, but it very, very seldom, not that often at all. Oh, so exciting. Just one more thing and then I'll pass it over to you. I did have one gentleman come in, and I don't know if I told you about this or not. He came in and he was very flustered, but he kept catching himself. Now, he wasn't so flustered that it was getting to me. I could feel his frustration, and I wanted to help him. I wanted to be of service. I wanted to do a good job for him and help him accomplish what it is that he wanted. But he wasn't making it easy. I later found out what he needed, and we were able to help him, and everything was good, and he was extremely appreciative, and he said thank you, and he even complimented us and stuff. So it ended up well, but he wasn't giving us the right information to be able to help him. But he was catching himself, so he could feel it, even though it wasn't so evident on the outside. He could feel it. And he's like, I'm sorry. I need to stop getting so triggered. I need to stop getting so triggered. And I was like, well, thank you. I said, that's pretty cool. That's neat that you can recognize that and catch it, even if you don't know how to do it yet. The fact that you know that there's something that needs to be worked on, me as a public worker, like, I really appreciate that you are even willing to acknowledge that. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, pat yourself a little bit on the back instead of being so hard on yourself. He's like, no, you don't understand. This is happening everywhere. This is happening everywhere. Like, everywhere I'm going, I'm just getting so triggered, and I got to figure out why. I said, well, if it helps at all, I do see quite a few hundred people every single day. And right now, and at that time, it was true just for a day or two. It was after they said they had turned on, some collider, who knows, whatever. And everybody was worried things were going to change, and everybody was kind of watching to see what was happening. And then so I just noticed a couple of people like a little triggery. I almost wonder if I had to guess why. I wouldn't say because of that thing necessarily. I would say because of the fear factor. Because of the fear factor, because of the unknown, because they don't know what's going to happen, because they just lived through what they lived through. They're a little on edge. Like, what's about to happen? I feel scared, and I still got to go out into the world. And so I think that's why they were a little triggered. This gentleman, I think, had just had a personal tragedy, and so that's probably what was going on with him. But I told him, I said, if it helps at all, I have noticed people being a little uptight lately, so you might just be normal. Like, it might just be something in the universe, or, with the seasons, or like something just going on in general with everyone. And he was really funny. He's like, no, don't make excuses for me. Like, I got to figure this out. I got to figure out why I'm being this way. And I was like, you got it, sir. I will not make excuses for you. You go figure it out. So, but I loved it. I really thought it was cool. It was a genuine, honest exchange. There was nobody else there. It was just me and him. So you were allowed to have this nice personal moment. There was another moment that was pretty beautiful, with the gentleman that was disabled. He had very limited movement on one of his arms, and he was trying to carry so many things, and he was trying to print something, and he had his laptop, and he's having to just use one arm to hold it all, to hold the laptop and to pull the laptop out. So I, went to help him, and then he didn't have internet on his laptop, so I opened up a hotspot and hooked it up and helped him do what he had to do, and we had to call customer service, and we had to get him some help. And but by the end, it was all fixed and taken care of. And he seemed pretty emotional. He was an elderly gentleman, not from here, from Europe. And he I would guess maybe China, I think he was from, or something. And he was really emotional. He goes, do you know that it's been about 15 years since someone showed me? I don't know why I'm getting choked up. Holy cow. He was like, it's been about 15 years since someone showed, because it makes me mad, I guess. How come nobody's been nice to you for 15 years? And he was a very nice little old man. He was a business owner. This guy's living the American dream. He's doing it. Yeah, he's doing it with one arm. Like, he was doing it all. Yeah, and he was just so touched. He didn't know what to do, and I had just a full line. I had 19 people at the door. So it wasn't the right. I try to usually use those moments, as teaching moments or example moments or whatever, but it just felt, for some reason this time it felt gross. Like maybe the people who were in the store weren't quite at the level to get it, to witness such a nice, kind, beautiful thing. I don't know what was off. Normally I don't care, and I make really big space for those people to have a nice Holy Spirit moment, but he was there. And so I couldn't relax. I think it was the ladies that were standing right behind him staring at me. He didn't know what to do, and he didn't know how to say thank you. And I was like, no.
You knew you were the one. You were the one.
Yeah, like, people should be this way. It should be all right. He's like, how much do you make? And I said, not very much. He's like, I'd like you to double it and let me pay it to you. And I was like, no, sir, you don't have to do that. Like, it's okay. The whole thing was just, it was nice for him, and it was nice for me, but it was awkward and weird because of the people. So there's something beautiful and off about that I haven't noticed before. And I don't know if it's something changing about me, or I don't know if it was something changing about the people that were in line that day. Maybe they just weren't in a space to appreciate that, where you don't throw your pearls to swine. Like, I'm not sure. Maybe that was rude. That sounded rude. Right now. But, like, there was something about it. So I'm thinking about that a little bit. and then I'll take a break to drink some water while you talk. But that's my immediate, pulse on what is going on, what I've seen in the immediate, recent past.
It's funny because I could say so many things to all of your little anecdotes because in my own strange way, I've been having the exact same sort of realizations, observations, moments. I mean, this is going to sound maybe kind of weird, but I had a dream. Can we get into it?
Yeah.
So I had a dream, I think it was only 2 nights ago, that almost completely mirrors your work experience.
Oh.
Yeah. Can
yeah,
I?
So you're getting it in dream time. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Total dream time, right?
Yeah, instead of doing it like me, it's just the other world.
So let me just share this weird dream that I had because it was unique and it was vivid and it was true to life and it was a surprise, right?
Okay.
For me, who keeps track of my dream life pretty good. So the dream was, right? Okay, so watch. So in real life, I had a job at a photo lab in West LA. And it was like, let's go 20 years back. Right? Busy photo lab. This lab made tons of money. Okay. So that's where I worked in real life. Now, about 2 nights ago, I had a dream that I was back there and the store / photo lab was super busy. It was busy. So meaning there's tons of film coming in, there's tons of film getting processed and developed, there's tons of pictures getting printed, there's tons of people in the store waiting to be helped. And in my dream, I just found myself there, and I noticed that the only person in the store was the boss, the owner, right? And I'm a tall guy, and in real life, the owner is a little short guy, and I'm not going to say his nationality or religion either, right? But this guy was all about his money, right? But he was also managing this super busy store all by himself in the dream. So now I find myself behind the register and I'm like, wow, I'm here again, right? Now watch this. So even though I haven't worked there in 20 years, in about 2 seconds, I was already recollecting the customers' names. I was remembering the code to get into the register. I was remembering the mixtures of the chemicals to process. I was remembering everything really fast, right?
Yep.
And I assessed really quick that the owner was by himself. He was printing things. And then everybody in the store, there was like a line, right? Again, a busy line, but this is a dream. But everyone in the store was basically cool. And they knew me, right? And I knew them. And so everything was cool. But here comes this one customer. And the one customer, he's already in a bad mood. He's already like ready. He's irate, right? He's a bad person in a bad mood with a bad vibe, and he's coming straight to me, right? So it's like I find myself in the store, and after 2 seconds, here comes the hell on wheels customer. Right. So he comes up to me, and he says, "Are my pictures ready?" Right. And so I walk over in the dream. I walk over to the boss who's printing the pictures, as fast as he can, and I just whisper in his ear. I say, "Hey, is so and so's prints ready yet?" And then he looks at me, and he whispers, and he says, "Tell him it's going to be 30 minutes." And so I see that the negatives have been put through the printer, but the prints are not ready yet, right? So I know it's probably going to be about 15 minutes, But the owner said, tell him it's going to be about 30 minutes. So I said, okay. So I walked to the front of the store and I said, they're not quite ready yet, but if you come back in 30 minutes, we'll have them all ready for you. And then the guy, right, watch this. The guy looked at me like he wanted to punch me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a dream, right? But he looked at me crazy.
Yeah.
And then he lifted up the sort of counter, which is on like a hinge.
Yep, this sounds so true. Go ahead.
Yeah, he walked into the printer area, and he grabbed all of his film off the little paperclip rack thing, and I saw that he had. This is a dream, right? But he had the cheap, oldest like 110 camera film. Most people don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And he grabbed all his film, and he looked at me, said something like, "I will be taking my business elsewhere," right? Right? And I looked at him, and now I know that my boss in the dream, he would not want to lose a customer or a dollar, right? But this is how the dream ended. I walked up to the boss, and I looked at him, and I said, F him. And then the boss said, yeah, F him.
Oh, but
right?
that is where it's going. Yeah. Okay. So I like this.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. This is a true report of actual happenings on planet Earth, current, modern, present day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it hasn't been this way. It's only been the way your boss was. It didn't matter. You were allowed to get abused so that owner did not lose a dollar. And that's how it's been. And it's not that way anymore. And the abusers are having a hard time with it. The people who are tired of the abuse are like, hallelujah, somebody's finally putting a stop to these monsters that are running rampant in public. Like, this is not appropriate behavior anywhere. Not in your house, not in public, not anywhere. Nobody should have to. So yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, that everybody knows that this is what's happening, but this is what's happening. People are putting a stop to the bullies.
Yeah, this is what's happening. So not only are you telling me about it in your workplace.
Yeah, you're getting it in dream time.
Strange reason. I went back in time 20 years.
Yeah.
And I was the boss. Like he was the owner, but I was the boss. And either one of us could handle the busiest, most out of control store and do it with a smile, and everyone would be cool. Even the crazy ones loved us, right?
Sure.
And neither one of us wanted to lose a dollar or a customer. However, right, at this juncture, at this point in time, not only is it the meek who are inheriting the earth, right, but the meek, or the I'm not even going to say passive, but humble and polite.
Correct. It's humble. That's the exact, because some of the people that, I had another gal come in today too, and she had some physical problems, and she was saying, I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm going to try to be on my best behavior. I'm going to try to, but I'm having some issues. And, even a lady before her had something else, had just gotten diagnosed with something pretty, terminal. And you could tell that they were hyped up, and it was bothering them, but they were trying really hard to not put it on other people as best as they could. And I'm fine with that. I get if you're having a hard day, but I don't get that you're allowed to bully people and you're allowed to hurt. You're hurt, so you're going to hurt someone else. That's what's not okay. You're allowed to be hurt. You're allowed to let someone help you. You're allowed to not have all the answers. You're allowed to not. I've had so many, people, mostly ladies, but that I've had to get a chair for and a tissue, and they just start bawling because they're just so overwhelmed. Yeah, they just don't even know what to do. And I let them, go ahead, cry for a second. And I had a really nice couple tell me, wow, you have such a comforting demeanor. Like, I'm really impressed. We came in here so stressed out, and we didn't know what to do, and now we're leaving feeling better. Like, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to take the whole store out with you. That's what you can't do. I just had to file, a claim for somebody that, had shoplifters. Well, they had shoplifters come into the store, and, the shoplifters split up into lots of different places. I shouldn't be giving ideas to people, because that's how gross the world is. It's like they're going to take. But anyways, they really did a lot of physical damage on a lot of bystanders in the store. And so they had to file claims on all of it. And it's just really gross. Like, yeah, you don't get to just go into a public place and because you don't have money or you need something or you're in a bad mood, you're going to punch someone in the face and you're going to steal. Like, what? What is going on? This is crazy. There's a team of you. What? Like, this is nonsense. And it wasn't even like it was a diamond store. We're talking about groceries. We're talking about like, silliness. Tons of ice cream, like dumb stuff.
Yeah, people doing strong arm robbery on like a little dollar store.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, I like that nobody's tolerating the bullies anymore. I would love to see that people are more important than money. Because before it hasn't been that way. The owners of these businesses, we're just still stuck with 80s mentality. Hey, let's get what we can get. Let's go as big as we can go. And, people are something to use. And they just really don't value the employees, most of them. And even some of the people that I saw that did value employees had grown out of it. And they didn't anymore, And so it's been a sad state. Business has been a really sad state. And I think I was with you. I think we were traveling. I was trying to think on the way here, how many different countries, and states and places have we recorded from or gone to visit the people and spread messages and give them messages of hope and, what the future is going to be like and, why to hang on. Yes, thank you. What to expect. And so, just that same thing. We've been talking about this for a while, in business. People that were so sad and so downhearted about the way that work had to be if they had to earn money. It had to look like this. And I like that it is changing in the way that we said that it was gonna, and to be able to see that come to pass. Not just in my lifetime, but in a really short amount of time. That was just a couple of years ago.
You're saying all this.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot faster, but I'll take a couple of years. The older we're getting, those years go by faster. And maybe that's the way it needs to be so that it's foundational, so that it lasts, so that it's good, so that, I don't think the younger people are going to allow it to go back to the way it was, at least not for a while. And I'm happy about that. And I'm just really trying to, like I said, mentor them or show them or whatever, just a way that they're not being shown. They're beautiful. I love them. They got new ideas, but there's some foundational things that they don't have. They don't read cursive and they don't know how to count money back, and they don't, just little basic things. They don't know how to think of other people above themselves. I was told quite frequently, by some of my new hires, I'm not their personal assistant. I shouldn't be. And I'm like, well, technically you're not, but you are being paid to do a job and I get to pick what that job is while you're here. And so we're going to call it customer service, and it's going to be being nice to people who, deserve a break for a second. It's not going to kill you to go above and beyond for 2 seconds. Like you can not only do it, you can do it enough that it becomes a habit and that it doesn't take very much effort from you to go above and beyond. And I know you've never seen this or done it, but I'm going to show you how. I'm going to
you're doing it
kindly and lovingly, I want to say make you do it, but it's really inspire you to want to do this. And they do, and I see them copying me and doing it on their own. And it just makes me really happy about the future and happy about the kids that are taking over. Like, I do believe in them, and I think they're going to do really good, amazing things. Like, I can't wait to see it. I'm seeing it now, but I'm really would like to see a lot more of the elders step up and be helpful, not bossy, not know-it-alls, but helpful. Oh, you don't know how to do that? Can I show? One thing that I really love, and especially about you, you're one of the few people that really does it all the time, but I would like to see more people do it. And I hadn't realized until I met you how many people don't do it, but we have all these people talking about stuff, and I'm not even going to use the wording that they use. So I'm just going to keep going where I was going. It's asking permission. So many people don't ask permission at all. Like, can I touch you? Can I help you with your phone? Can I show you how to do that? Can I being in a public place, I don't want to get in trouble. So I always ask, like, is it, I'll try to show them without touching them or touching their phone or being bossy or whatever. But if I need to do something, I try to ask permission. And I wish more people would ask permission, and same thing with the elderly people. They'll try to just force their knowledge on someone without having been asked. And I know back in the day that was just called being considerate. But nowadays, because people have just, manipulated things so grossly, people have trust issues, and they're very scaredy cat, and they have their headphones in and they don't want you just coming up on them. So you really need to ask permission. And these are, as much as the young people need guidance from the elders, I think that the elders also need a couple of pointers to help them feel like they're still relevant in the modern day, instead of this world went on without you and now you're just here and there's no reason for you to be here. No, there's a reason for you to be here, but things are just a little bit different. Can we just make a few tweaks before you go spewing that knowledge on someone? Can they ask you for it, or can you offer it? Can you say, I'd like
Make
to
it available.
show you a trick that I knew. Can I show you? And let them do it, or give you permission to help them, because then now we're having an interaction instead of, somebody being put upon. But I think that they really need each other. I think that they can do a lot of help for each other. I think that the younger generation can give the older generation a sense of hope and purpose, and
they're not obsolete.
Pride.
They're not.
No, not at all. Not at all. They're just crotchety. They're crotchety and they're rude. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Like, stop it. I get that life sucked. I get that it was hard. It can still be good, and there's people that need you. Like, come and help. Quit doing that. There's a movie that just came out. I haven't seen it yet, and I saw the book in the thrift store, and I thought, this doesn't look that great. I'd rather write my own book. But I watched a little trailer when a friend of mine said that it looked cute, and it's basically about a crotchety old man, that a little gal in the neighborhood befriends and turns him, helps him turn over a new leaf. And so it's really had me thinking, about people like that, because I know a lot of us like to be like, oh, get out of here, but, they need love. They need love, and they're not obsolete, and I think that they have a lot of information, which, everybody has the language of money. That's what most people understand. Not everybody, but the younger people especially, they want it and they're not necessarily sure how to get it, or they're stealing it. But I would think that information that, and maybe there's a better way, maybe you can articulate it better. But that older generation has like the equivalent to that young person's money. Like, they have the information you need, or the, just a foundational knowledge. Could just be a little thing, a little thing.
Yeah, fundamentals.
Yeah. Some of those kids, I'm just like, do you know how to count money back? Do you know if you pushed a wrong button on this, like, are you frozen? Do you not know? One girl was smart enough to go, I'd grab a calculator, and I'm like, dang, I didn't even think about that. Like, this is why I like them, but I'm like, how about if, calculators weren't here? Can you still do it? Can I show you? Can you give me 2 minutes? Can I show you how to do it? And we'll just do a couple practices, and then you'll know it. You'll know it forever, and you'll always be able to do it, and you'll be confident in your math skills. You'll never be nervous, and this will be great. Yes. Like, it's a nice thing. You can even teach it to other people. It just takes a minute. Just little things like that. And it could be anything. It could be like, don't mix Mentos with Coca-Cola. Like, it's not good for your belly, whatever. I'm sure they know that one, but the old people might not. So what can we call them? The older generation. I don't have a problem with old people. I think they're cute. I'm old. Oh. I don't find it a derogatory term, but I know people get triggered. I try to be as considerate as possible when I speak. Well, what's funny is I think my dad's probably younger than me. I think I'm for sure older than my dad. I'll talk about, I'm getting close. I'm almost there. He's like, what are you talking about? You sound like you're going to die. Stop it. And I'm just like, I am going to die at some point. Like,
I think there's something funny about both of us, you and I. We like old people stuff and old people lingo.
Yeah.
Like even lingo is an old people word, We
Yeah.
like old.
Yeah. It is.
Like it has its use. It has its it's not for nothing. Old people
Yes.
stuff.
I said one thing where it's not like super relevant to like, hear ye nations of the world. But I was at work today and I said something. Somebody said, I wish I could remember the exact example. I can't. But I said something like, yeah, of course. Like, we're cool. It's cool here. Like, everybody's. And then after I said it, like, I was listening to myself. And my fellow employee was sitting there kind of like trying to choke down a smile. And I was like, it just occurred to me, like when I said, like, yeah, we're cool, like that's allowed, it's all right. I was like, I sounded like the oldest person. Like, you really did. You sounded like a really old lady being like, I'm hip, I'm relevant. Like, I think I've officially moved into, probably old lady phase, which is fine.
Sometimes I name rooms. So there's the studio room, there's the bedroom.
Yeah. I do too.
Right, blah blah blah. So, but I got an old people room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's kick it in the old people room.
I've never thought of that. That's so funny.
Right? So like sometimes you want to throw the kids in the old people room. Sometimes you yourself feel like the old person, so I'm gonna go to the old people room where it's quiet and the cat's in there, and it's just.
That's what I was gonna ask. Can you tell me what an old people? I don't even know what an old people room would look like. Now, for me, because I was a caregiver, an old people room to me feels like maybe it's going to be different than yours. I don't even want to tell you what mine looks like. When I think old people room, I think of like a recliner and a TV.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe a couch next to it so you could sit next to it and hold their hand or help them eat their dinner.
Yes.
It's probably got some blanket comforters, to throw over you. And there's maybe a fireplace that isn't lit, but could be. And some pictures.
Yes.
Okay.
So how old you are, no matter what your layout is, it's good to have an old people room. It's like you can be the old person, or you can just you can shove some stuff in there sometimes. You can go out, sit and look at the sunset if you feel old, and you know what I mean. It's like something about.
So now, is your old person room like a sunroom?
Yeah, see, you got it. You already know it.
Okay, so there's a window to the outside. That's nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Well,
that's a good old person room.
So I probably
like it.
That's the room that I'm in the least. But when I go in there, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'll go curl up on the couch like a cat.
Yeah.
Just lay on the floor.
Yep.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be by myself. I'll go in the old people room.
And I like this subject because I am okay. So each year I get downloads on different peoples of the world, and so there's different subjects and different things. And one of the ones that I'm getting this year, which I'm really enjoying, I've never really had, didn't even occur to me that it was a subject that could be downloaded. But it's kind of what you're talking about. It's people's homes and people's personal spaces. And what they're doing in those spaces and what they can do or what it could be used, just all the different options and what's actually happening. And so I like this subject of rooms because I don't know that people know that there's options. I feel like, and there's construction going outside. I don't know if you can hear it. There might be some rumbling. Right. I can feel it rumbling my feet. I tried to go to the furthest room away from it, but it's kind of everywhere. They're redoing the pavement. So anyways, I feel like they don't know that there's different options. They know what they've seen. And it was very interesting to me to find out. So I was very obsessed with Vintage Life. especially specifically like the 50s and a little bit the 60s. And so when I talked to my dad, he said, the interesting thing was real life wasn't like the way it looked on TV. That was not how real life was. Like that was the ultimate what it could be.
Idealized.
But that's not, but that's not how life really was. And it had never occurred to me. I thought that was just so weird and so interesting and so strange. And so it's kind of the same idea. I think that people see, these TV shows and their friend's house or whatever, that's made up to look presentable, to look, to impress your neighbors or whatever. And so they think that's how it's got to be. That's how it's got to look. I have always remembered, and to this day, well, let me just get on with the story. I always remembered, people being like, come over and look at my bathroom. Like, what is in your bathroom? I remember being in Florida, right? And I'm from the Southwest. And so I see this girl's bathroom and I don't get it. I don't understand. I was young, maybe 14, maybe 16. And I didn't get what we were looking at. Like what was exciting in this bathroom? I did not know. And she's like, it's Southwest. It's decorated Southwest. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm from the Southwest. This is boring. Like, this is so boring. But to her, it was really exciting. And I've seen some girls where it's like, oh, look, I made my bedroom Paris. Or, I have, this other theme, what gray and black, checkerboard. Mm-hmm. Whatever they've decided, and I've done a lot of different things in this human life. One was interior design. So I get it. It's fun. It's cool. But I don't think that people really understand what you can do. Like you really can make worlds, like whole worlds that you can be in, that you can do things from. And it doesn't have to look like what the outside world told you it had to look like. I went through a period of time where I was really in bad shape. I was not able to stand for more than maybe 20 minutes. And it was really sad, and I was missing my family, and I just felt very isolated. And so I just said, forget it. I put my bed, which was a huge queen size bed, in the middle of the living room. Like it was very Frida, and I hadn't heard of Frida yet at this time. I just had the same idea, but I put it in the middle of the living room, and it was great. And everybody was able to come and visit me and sit next to me and talk to me, and I was able to be a part of everything. And, there's all different kinds of versions of it. That's just one, but you could really, literally, do anything you want. Like, we love to take a room and make it a studio, Like, you really just could do anything. Like this guy, you could have a quiet room. You could have a dark room. You got crazy migraines? Great. Make a beautiful dark room.
Yeah, see?
With, some insulation and some lights that don't hurt your eyes so you don't stub your toe. Like, it could be anything. You missed your childhood? Great. I mean, I don't want to, make you regress, but you could, I like what you said. I think that that's a cool idea. Even if it just sparks, it's so funny. People are talking a lot more about how something affected them or sparked them or made them feel something or say, we're used to that. It's normal for us. But I forget that it's not normal for everybody. It's not normal for them to gather great inspiration, from one word or one thing. We've done it to the, nth degree. So we could have a whiff of a memory from a year from a whatever, and all of a sudden, bam, new world created. I've got enough ideas for people to make jobs for the next 30 years. But other people haven't fine-tuned these skills, and this is what we're here to try to help them with. When you talked about whether or not they commented on the page, I think that this is new for people. I think that a lot of people haven't even found us. I have been out there scouting and looking for people. And I did mention it once. I never mention it. Give me just a second to drink some water because my throat's getting a little scratchy. Hold on.
Yeah, you got the talkie roll today. I'm the strong silent type.
I actually, when I listen to our things, I always wish that I would be quiet more and let you talk. But I think I'm just so happy that we're recording,
Mm-hmm.
and I've missed it. And at first, I was thinking that I wanted to be like, hear ye,
Mm-hmm.
all nations of planet Earth, kindreds, peoples, and tongues. But then I was like, no, remember in the beginning, you wanted to keep people company. You wanted to deliver some fun messages and keep people company and have it be nice, like more
Inspirational.
intimate. Yeah, you wanted somebody to feel like they maybe spent time. I think it's for everybody. I think whether you're fancy, even fancy people with tons of money, like they don't know who to trust. And they
Mm-hmm.
don't know who they can, like, they need friends the same as anybody else.
Fancy people with tons of money, trust.
They do trust?
They trust me for
Oh,
some reason.
of course, because you're a trustworthy person and you can feel it when you meet you. The only people I think that get triggered for the most part by us are people who are being disingenuous, and we can see it, and they know that we can see it, and so it really ticks them off because they were thinking that they were hiding it, and we don't bring light to it. We don't say anything. We don't draw attention to it, and
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
do, it's very matter of fact. It's not. We're not yelling at you. You're not in trouble. But they sure don't like it. They think that they've got
Mm-hmm.
everybody fooled, and so we kind of tick them off a little bit, I think.
So if you're disingenuous, or if you don't know
We're
what
gonna
you're
rub you
talking
the
about,
wrong way.
you might
Yeah,
get
we're
hurt.
gonna rub. Yeah, you're gonna get triggered around us probably, and that's okay. I'm all right. I wish that more people were okay with being triggered. Like if you're triggered, why am I triggered? What's going
Yeah,
on? Like
and that's
what
also
is
your
happening?
problem. It's like
Yeah, like
fear. You know what I mean? Like
take a look at
if
it
you're
and
afraid
figure
of
out what's
bears,
going on. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Go
Well,
talk. I'm being quiet.
what am I going to talk about anymore?
Oh, I thought you were on a roll and I interrupted you. I'm trying really hard not to. Like I said, I go back. I really enjoy our sessions very much. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess I do the thing I'm trying to provide for other people. When I do feel lonely or I'm not sure what I'm doing or what's going on, I go through it just like anybody else. I'm still in a human body. Um, I'll go and listen to one of our shows and I feel like I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm like, man, they're so funny and so cute and so fun. And I just really enjoy them, but I do catch myself a lot going, man, I wish he would be a little more quiet and let him talk. Like, so I'm working on it. Maybe I'm going to go before you. So we're just getting me down on record and the people are going to hear you firsthand, You never know.
I think I think things
Memories.
are in order,
Mhm.
even if I sometimes don't feel it. I just know that things are going
I
in the right way.
for sure think so. And I for sure think so in the sense that, say I was elected to help, my Heavenly Father decorate and plan for an event that was taking place on planet Earth, right? And I was so excited, and I was like, "Well, I got all these. Look, I made these paper flowers, and I've glued together these things, and I'm just really mad that nobody's paying attention, and this is not going my way. They're not
Mm.
hanging it where I wanted it. Like I'm just really feeling like I'm a part of this. And then so now, you would go, how is it right? Like now you're going like, oh, there were caterers and these are elegant decorations. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're a part of it, but it there was a plan and there was a design and we love your paper flowers. We're going to put them over here. But like, these are the
Wow.
decorations. So that is the best way I can describe what you're talking about for me. That's how it feels for me. I can see that there is a grand design behind it, and I can see how Cheeseball, and as great and wonderful as I think my ideas are, how Cheeseball they are compared to the grand design. Like, it's actually
Oh,
better
wow.
than what I could imagine. So I think that you're correct, and I think it is going the right way. And I can see, oh, this is, it's like I was trying to tape my flowers up with some scotch tape and some string, and then now there's like Installers. There's installers. I didn't know I was better than that. Like there's installers over here with like drill guns putting mounts to like hang out proper decorations. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah. Like I see where we were going with this. So, I submitted my efforts. I don't think they were for nothing. They're on the table. People are going to be like, who did that? Me.
Oh man, you do all the lovely stuff.
But I can see, there's bigger and there's more. There's a lot going on, and it's a lot more than one person could do. So I think there's a reason that it is the way that it is, and that it's going the way that it's going. For those people who might feel frustrated or disheartened or lost or wondering what's going on or how it's happening. Cool.
Yeah. You're music to my ears right now.
Oh, good. Yeah. You do that a lot for me too.
I love it. I'm getting in mine now. I need it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's why, people need each other. I wish people understood, compliments. And I don't mean, oh, you look pretty. I mean, this, blood orange goes with this item. Like these two things complement each other. They are as different as my dad used to say chalk and cheese, but they go together well. Like they, work well together and serve make a better thing together as one. It's collaboration, and I know artists get it, and
but regular people have a little.
They don't. Yeah, I wish more people understood that. Like, you're not meant to be doing this alone. I don't care what it is. You could do something, and you could do it once, or you could do it 10 times, but you're probably supposed to be in a family. Like, somehow, even if it's just a work family, a community family, even if it's just a cat-loving society family, like there's something, a meeting of the minds to figure out what the best design for this banner is. Like, I think that, teamwork, like they say,
I've been writing about this. This is really interesting.
That cheesy saying, I love it. Teamwork makes the dream work. Like, that's true. It comes together more beautiful, when it'd be like that controlling mom who wants to do everything all by herself. You could do that, or you could be like, son, you can set the table, and daughter, you are in charge of the decorations, and husband, could you please have like a nice thought or saying, to say to everybody, and then I'll take care of the food. Like, that's a nice collaboration.
Yeah, we all have a little part.
Yes. I think when everybody's doing something, it's better than.
And it's not something that's foreign to you. It's something that's natural to you, but you got to kind of.
Well, it's natural to me. Doesn't mean I do it all the time. I surely forget. And if I can forget, then anyone can forget. But I think that there's a lot of people who have never been exposed to this. They don't even know this. They didn't see it growing up. They were alone. They had to be alone. They had to do the thing. They had to take care of their parents, or they had to, hustle. And they had to do, they don't know that community and collaboration is even a thing. They don't know that God does actually, make families, like all different forms and variations of families. There's plant families, there's cat families, there's artistic families, there's hungry families, like any kind of, there's lonely families. There's a bunch of lonely people over here. They don't even know their family. Like, but things are in families. Even berries on a tree grow in families. They're little groups. Like, that is how it is. Even corn stalks. If you plant corn and you don't plant more than one, it's not going to be happy. It's not going to work the way that it would if you did it in a group. Like, we're created in a certain way. Things work here on the planet in a certain way. And I don't know that people know that. There's so many things that I won't say that I take for granted, because I don't think that that's true, but that I was given or blessed with or learned or have.
You're familiar with these things.
And I think it's nice that I do have it, because they gave it to a giver. They gave it to somebody that was going to share it. They gave it to somebody that was going to spread it as much as possible. But I'm always, just for a second, surprised, like, wow, how did you you went a whole life without knowing this. Whatever it is, it could just be like, don't mix milk with alcohol. Like, beer. I don't know. I don't know that that's a real thing. I'm just trying to make an example. But, certain, or like a recent example was a cleaner with bleach. I saw somebody making this chlorine gas, and oh my gosh, my eyes were burned, my throat was burned, everything was burned. And they're like, no, this is how my mom does it. Like, this smells good to me. This is what I'm used to. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you're killing yourself. You are literally, you're going to be passed out here on the floor. Like, this is not okay. And you've gone your whole life not knowing that this is not okay. Like, there's so much, just one little thing. Like, don't mix this with bleach. That's a real rule. and yet they don't know, there's so many people with just one little thing like that. Like you talked about, the counting of the money, or you're supposed to be in a family, and that doesn't mean go just settle for whatever. But even if you did, you'd learn something. If you got forced into to be a part of a group, you'd learn something. I like this. I don't like this. We learn, better together.
Oh, and sometimes you got to go back and pick up a few things you missed.
For sure. And I really liked that your dream took you back to a time that you remember, because I've had so many times in my life where I think, and I'm only guessing, but I'm probably right. I think that my mind, or my body, in order to protect me, took something out of my mind, like just got it out of the way so that I couldn't sit there dwelling on it, and it couldn't hurt me anymore or damage me or do whatever. And so I was sad, like that thing is gone. Like that thing is gone, and it's not gone. It's literally a part of you. And at whatever point you should really need it, you will be able to access it. You will be able to access it. And I don't know if it's us that accesses it, or if it's something heavenly or divine that allows you to access it, presents it to you. Yeah. Okay. So that's, I know the information, but I don't know necessarily how it works. I just know that it works. And so I think that that's a nice, comforting thought, and just what a beautiful reminder that you gave us, that it does. It comes back to you so vivid. You could remember the codes. You could remember the smell. You could remember the people's name. All of that. I remember.
And I haven't thought about it in 20 years.
Yep, exactly. I'll worry that I've forgotten people. I had a brain. They say you can remember 150 people. And I would remember hundreds of thousands. And I didn't know how I could do it. And I thought, this surely couldn't last. And then so, I went through some trauma, and it definitely fell out of my brain. And I was like, oh, all those people are gone. Like, they remember me, I'm sure, because there was just one of me. But it was, it was kind of not hard at the time to remember hundreds of thousands of people. But I was able to do it. And, and then now I found it hard to go back. And then, just like you said, one day, something clicked. And all of a sudden, I could remember their names. I could remember their children's names. I could remember their heights. I could remember conversations we could have. I could remember secrets they told me. I could remember everything, that was there, everything that existed, smells, things that they told me, ways that they looked, how their lip curled, all of it. I could see them just clear as day, and it was so easy, and it wasn't difficult, and there was no struggle. So I think that, I hope that people know it, but for those who don't, for those who maybe are feeling low or discouraged, like, you're phenomenal creation that works in, unthinkable ways. Yeah. You can't even fully comprehend what you are. You've only seen what you've seen. You don't know everything that you can do by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I would have never guessed people can move physical objects without touching them. What? That's literally something you can teach people how to do. It's not even crazy. It's not even a wild, far-fetched idea. No, it's literally, I can show you how to do it in 30 minutes. Like, it's a thing, So I think that we are just now, really moving into a new, exciting place where we're discovering, computers are actually a copy of us. Like, we hold the information inside of us, and we're able to access it should we so need to.
There's my
And
tired
just
there.
so anything that a machine can do, of course, you could travel faster than the speed of light. You can,
Thank you.
yeah, you can do all of
Don't
these
get it
things.
twisted. I got that one covered.
Yeah. And I think the more that people stop thinking that they know everything and start being appreciative and grateful and curious, I like to say childlike. Yeah, childlike.
You're on fire. What's up?
Yeah, appreciative, childlike, and just open to what the possibilities are and how things can be. Like, wow, the things that we're going to be able to do together, I think, are really amazing. And I think that the younger generation is super open to it. I'm very impressed with the things that they're saying. And, to an older person, it's going to sound super far out. But then again, some of the older people are coming in and going, I remember this. This was
you got reminders.
The Zen phase or the New Age movement, or that they all have a different name for what they called it back in the day. But really it's just, knowledge that's being unlocked to the people, and especially if they will just be honorable, and like we said, curious or, innocent and use it for good. You'll be is endowed the right word, with such an abundance of it, with more than you know what to do with. And really be able to do fun, cool, neat, great things for yourself and for people that you love, whether it's teaching them, whether it's helping them do things, whether it's, all kinds of things. But you've got to have, that good, pure heart. I think, people are so traumatized and guarded and all of this stuff. If we can just get back down to a place of purity, where everybody's just genuinely bringing their tender-hearted, well-meaning self.
Even if you've been through it, you still got that in it.
For sure. Yeah, especially if you've been through it, because you're the one that needs to see that there's good here. And, I'm excited. It's exhausting, but I'm excited.
Yeah. Los dos.
Yeah.
Both.
But I do see people catching up. Not everybody gets to see so many people on a day-to-day basis to be able to get a pulse of the planet and see where people are at and what's going on. They have a limited.
That used to be me.
Circle, yeah. Some people, are on the internet, but even the internet is, I would say it's a reflection. Kind of like when worlds mirror each other. It's a kind of world. And then you've got the physical world, which is another kind of world. So they'll be similar, but I think just letting people know, like, it is getting better. It is getting better. People are, I really want to say getting smarter, but I think that it's really more compassionate. The real true word. That's just me being sarcastic, but I think the real word is being more compassionate and aware and observant and willing, to help or to go somewhere new or to try something different. Even something so little as, and I don't like to use electronics as an example, but just watching, me, I'm very fearful of electronics. And so watching, I'm totally a dinosaur. Oh my goodness. And so you'll have like these new credit card machines, or, payment machines where you tap them and there's nothing. It's just like magic. You're like, what just happened? I always try to give them the option. You could do this, or, it's like the price is right. Like, you could try this, like a game show. You could try this. I got to quit name dropping. I feel like that stuff is all gone. I want people to know what it was. And I like that moment. I like watching that moment in the life of a human where they are contemplating, shall I do what I've always done, or shall I try something new? And you can actually watch the wheels in their mind turning. It's just a split second, but if you're paying attention, you can see them. And you could see, I'm going to go with what I know. I know what I know, and I don't want to be forced into something new, and I'm just going to do what I've always done. And you respect it. So here you go, sir. Here's what you're going to do. Next, you're going to push the green button. It means this, blah, blah, blah. But then you'll see somebody that's like, I've never done this before. I don't know how to do it. I'm like, step right up. All right. All you're going to do is hover your card right here. You're going to hold it there. Don't move. The machine's a little slow. And when it beeps at you, it's done. And then they're just like, what? That's all there is? It spits out. But it's pretty fun. And it's not about the electronics, and it's not about what that machine is doing. It's about where are we at? Like, are we ready to try new things? Are we stuck in our ways and we've been through too much and we're not going to try anything new anymore? Or like, what are we doing? Somebody asked me a pretty good question that I liked. He said, what are you focusing on? And it should be a normal question. I could have spewed some facts. I'm focusing on switching my garden around, or making new meals, or I'm focusing on being nice to old people, or I'm focusing on, retraining the younger generation. But I wanted, I respected him, and I knew that his time was valuable. And so I really didn't want to give him just some quick answer. So it really took a lot of time to think about it. I don't even think that I ever answered him. I just said, I've been focusing on the radio station, and I've been focusing on some other things, but I'm in a period of transition, where I'm moving on to new things, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm focusing on, because there were a lot of things, and I'm watching them, get moved out of the way, so that whatever's going to stay is the thing I'm focusing on. So I'm kind of right there. You asked the right question, but I don't have the answer for you yet. But I really liked it. What are you focusing on? Like, what are you focusing on? I spent some time with a gal recently who, it was the past. Her answer was the past. If I spent a couple minutes with you, I could probably tell you what you're focusing on. Another guy, it was negativity. It was everything that can go wrong. That's what I'm focusing on. And, kids, they're so stinking cute. They come in, and today this little kid came in, and my coworker had his back to them, and he said, welcome in, or something like that. How are you doing? And the kid goes, how did you know that? How did you see us? How did you know that we walked in? You had your back to us. And I said, because he's magic. And he looked at me very serious, like he believed me. And the guy goes, because I have eyes in the back of my head. And he goes, is that true? And I loved it. That's one of my favorite questions. I have a family member who taught me that a long time ago when I first, learned about Reiki and, supernatural things. And she would always say, is that true? And it would wig me out. I was like, why? Do you think I'm lying? Like, that was my first response when I had never heard this question. And then I moved into a place of authenticity where I wanted everything to be real, and I wanted to not be a liar. And I fixed everything in my life, and I changed it all. I used to tell people, I have a motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle. It wasn't true. I went and got a motorcycle license. Now I do ride a motorcycle. Like that. I can say I made everything true. And I loved that question that she asked, is that true? And I thought it was beautiful that this little kid that's maybe 4 or 5, he wasn't sure what to make of it. He could have just gone along with it because kids are gullible. But he was serious. He was checking out his surroundings, and he was like, is that true? Like, do you have eyes in the back of your head? If it was true, he wanted to see. Like, he wanted to know. And I loved it. And I could not lie to him. I said, he is teasing you. He does not have eyes in the back of his head. And he just looked like, I don't trust you guys in here. Like, we've been collecting books, for the community to give out to the kids. And so I said, I distracted him. Do you like reading? Would you like to choose a book? Let me show you all these options. And he was really cute. He picked one out for him and his sister, and everything went well. But I love observing these people, and just seeing how they are and where they are and what we have to work with. I will end on one last note, because I know I've talked this whole time, but I've just really missed, recording with you. I was watching a show, and I don't know why I keep trying to name drop, because I feel like specifics, people could go find it, but maybe they don't need it. So I was watching a movie, and it was where this guy was what is it?
Never mind.
No, what'd you say?
So you can use names.
Really? Okay. Well, it's a little vulgar, so I won't, because I don't want kids to find it. But it was just on TV. It was on TV, but it was, kind of a silly, sarcastic movie. And And so the guy was a hero, you know, of sorts that was given a little army, you know, that he was checking them out. And when he's looking at the army, they're just like kind of a bunch of dipsticks, you know, a bunch of bozos, and they're, you know, shooting themselves in the foot, and they're, you know, can't figure out which way is forward. And this is who he has to work with. And I was with some friends, and I'm like, that's how I feel. I feel like I was given an army to go like, you know, affect the planet, and this is my band. Like, this is who I am. I don't feel that way today, but for that day while I was watching it, I was really having a laugh. Just cut that part out. That part should be cut out. That wasn't helpful in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, it's helpful for me.
It was true. It was true. So the vulgar movie, I hope kids don't go watch it. It was, it's really silly. It was Robin Hood. I think it's like Men in Tights or something like that. Yeah, and I had never seen this movie, but it was on TV, and somebody else was watching it, and so I just happened to catch this one scene, and I was like, oh, movie after my own heart. That's me. My band of goofballs. So it was good. It actually was good. I think I accepted it, and then I went forward and looked for what was really there, you know, which was bigger and better and beautiful. It's like the paper flowers, you know.
You're on fire.
Thanks. I feel good, you know.
Yeah, like really, you're really seeing the good.
We've gone through so much, and when I say we, I'm not saying just you and me. I'm saying the planet Earth. Like, we've gone through so much stuff, just so many hard times and difficult things, from weather, you know, to finances, to war, to shenanigans, and, you know, conspiracy, like just everything. Yeah, people doing totally inappropriate things for really bad reasons. And so I just feel really good. And if I feel this way,
that's what I said. Yeah, if you feel it, then
right, because of just who I am and what I do. So if I'm feeling calm and peaceful and able and secure and nice, and, you know, like, things are easy and just enjoyable, you know, that's really the word for it. Just enjoyable. Like, I don't feel like I'm getting forced to do, not even by myself, anything, you know. It's, do you want to do this? And if you could, what can you do? And it's just a really nice place to be. So if I'm feeling this, there's something going on. I don't know if something's getting cleared out. I don't know if the people are getting smarter. You know, I don't know if they're being taught, like, what's happening, but something's happening, or I wouldn't be feeling this way. So it's nice. Yay, bravo. Anybody who's contributing or helping, it's working. Way over here in the, you know, the thermometer, I'm reading it. It's correct. It's good. It's nice. It's working. So, you know, and it's just that much easier for somebody like me to share that, to make it contagious, to light other people's candles, and for them to do the same for other people. So good news all around, I feel like.
Lit about, I don't know, several million candles, and I lit maybe like 4 or 5, but
that's not true at all. It's not true at all. Not even close. It's like if you lit candles that were called cars, and I lit candles that were called, you know, cats or something. Like, that was a bad example. My stuff is other. Well, I wanted to say plants, but then I was like, well, he likes plants too. So I was trying to pick something that was just a ridiculous, like, example, but I didn't. You know, when you have a specialty and I have a specialty, I think that we both do a great, big, huge thing. I think we do something together that we wouldn't otherwise do separately, and I think that we do really neat, cool, great things on our own too. You know, there's people that you can get to that I'm not trying to do that. I can't get to those people right now. I'm not going to stand out in the heat and talk to somebody. No. Like, you know, but I can sit there while you're wallowing and crying, and I can help you. I had a poor little lady, you know, old lady. I think she said she was in her at least 70s, if not 80s. She was trying to come in and she tripped. And she really was hobbling into the store. Nobody was helping her. A lady, I think, helped her stand up, but didn't help her in the store. And so she's walking in and she's like, I said, are you okay? Do you need a chair? Do you need some? She goes, yeah, I tripped and I think I hurt my leg. And she pulls her pants up a little bit and she's really bleeding, like really bleeding. Yeah. And nobody was helping her. Like nobody cared. They were just worried about, could they get up to the line before she could? You know, like it was really gross. So I got her a chair and I sat her down and she needed to send a fax. You know, she needed something to be done. And unfortunately, she fell in the process. But she had to get this thing done. It was really important to her. So, you know, I put some gloves on, you know, and I probably shouldn't have. I'm not a doctor, you know, but I tried. I tried to stop her bleeding and I, you know, contacted the proper people and we got it taken care of, you know, and previously, you know, a couple of weeks previously, another person had tried to file a claim, you know, for getting injured. And he wasn't. You know, it was, you could see it. You could see the moment in his mind where he decided that he was going to say no, he was not okay. But he was about to say yeah. And then he realized he could cash in on it, that he could capitalize on it. And so that was gross. You know, but the little old lady she was a trooper. She was really tough. I would have been crying and I would have been sad and I would have probably been like, I need to go right now to the hospital. Like, you know, she was really tough. And I didn't mind being on my hands and knees helping her, you know, and I helped her even get to her car and made sure that she got her little buns in her driving seat, you know, and she was okay to drive. It wasn't that bad, but it was bad. You know, it wasn't just a scratch. And I don't know. I guess I'm rambling now, but I just
You're just you know
things that we've been seeing. Yeah, you know, help. And that's the thing. It's not about how many did you help and how many did I help. It's like, did you help? Did you help? Did you help? Did you help? Did you help anybody today? Did you do anything today for yourself or for someone else? Yeah, like, were you selfish or did you? And I'm not talking about depleting yourself. I'm saying, did you? You know, my poor little tree outside. Yeah, like my tree when it got cut and it was so sad and I poured so much love into that tree. Like, I'm sorry. I couldn't stop them. How could I let them do this to you? And then to my surprise, my poor dead tree that I had just cried and thought about. Yeah, it's so huge and beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Like, I didn't know that trees got haircuts like that. It looked devastating.
You scared me with that tree
story. It did.
Yes.
I was so sad. I thought they killed it. These, you know, and I don't usually call names, but I thought these dummies killed it. They really did. And they didn't. It was me. the non-understander, you know. But I sat out with that tree, you know, and I talked to it and I prayed about it and I really got outside of myself and you know, celebrated and mourned the life of something. And I don't think it matters what you're doing. Just like, are you participating? Are you participating in this planet in a positive and
that's
good
my
way?
word too. That's my word right now. Participate.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
No, you already been. You were the today. I'm just the parrot. Okay. Participate. Yeah.
I love you. We'll do the next episode. I'm just gonna make a yes and a no sign, and I'll just hold them up silently. I don't say a word, but I feel like I got it out.
It's all good.
So yeah, that's my report.
Gracias por todo. And be of good cheer and encourage your fellow people and don't be a schmuck and everything is lovelier than you think.
That one.
You just take a minute.
Correct.
9 times out of 10, it'll be super dope. It's like it can be. It's not just deep words.
Yeah.
Things can go well.
Laced up in the front with the ribbon. Backside looks like every day's Thanksgiving. Seem like the whole room comes to a call. DJ's looking for a yes.